So make the decision today to just stop the madness and create some different priorities for you, your marriage, and your family. I was looking through some pictures the other day of a trip we took to Atlanta for the holidays. And it didn't take long for me to run across this one perfect little picture of my little girl, man. It was an amazing picture that captured exactly what I remember about that holiday season. She was standing there almost glowing in the sunlight, had a little flower in her hand. It was gorgeous. And I remember thinking, man, that trip was just, I can't really remember anything bad about that trip. It was amazing. It was perfect. Then I kind of flipped through the slides on my iPad, and not 5 minutes later in time, in sequence, on the camera roll, I see my son kind of stealthing in to my little girl. And then there's another picture. He grabs this toy from her. It's his, right? Then the next picture, that beautiful little girl with the angelic face who looked so perfect. She had her mouth wide open, tears all in her eyes. She had that look on her face like, I'm gonna open up a can on the next person I can possibly make contact with. It was hilarious. And I remember thinking back to Atlanta, and I remember thinking back to that trip, and I tend to have those perfect pictures in my head of the beautiful little girl and the perfect moments. But I forget the messiness that can come when you put 30 family members together in one room. Some of them are old and cranky, some of them are under 2. I mean, it's not pretty sometimes, right? And the truth is, that really was an amazing trip. It was. We are blessed with our family. But it was not a perfect trip. And that picture of my little girl, that beautiful little picture, that perfect picture, it was just that. It was just a picture. And I'm here to tell you today that we have to get rid of the Norman Rockwell images that we put in place, and we have to replace them with realistic expectations of what life can really look like. So if you want to ensure that you don't set yourself up for disappointment, take these 2 steps. Number 1, just let your spouse off the hook. I mean, can we start there? Don't push so hard for your version of the perfect marriage. Don't push for like these Martha Stewart type dinners and the kids who look perfect and never have stained clothes and the clean house that's always, going to be impressive when people walk in. That's great goals. Awesome. I'm all about, awesome dinners and clean houses. Trust me. But we got to loosen up. We've got to make room for grace and mercy in real life. One thing I was taught very early in life was you put people before projects. Put people before projects. I guarantee you, if that's your goal, every time, you're going to end up happier than you ever would be if you set yourself up for unrealistic expectations. The second thing that you can do is you can choose new priorities. Choose new priorities as a couple and as a family. There's a problem with the way we do marriage as a culture. Let me just say that. We get so busy in our stressful lives, we kind of start to miss the point. We're trying to have those houses and those yards. I know guys that are obsessed with their yard grass, obsessed with it. We try to have the right clothes on our kids, and we forget the simple little miracle of everyday life together. I mean, here's the reality of things. You get to do life with your spouse. Guys, that woman sitting on the couch across from you, laying in the bed next to you, that's your gift from God. You get to do life with her. Ladies, your husband, with all his strengths and weaknesses, that is your gift from God. So make the decision today to just stop the madness and create some different priorities for you, your marriage, and your family. Focus on prioritizing activities and experiences that will create valuable experiences as a family. That's the key. How can we do things that we will remember and that will be memorable for our kids. Go for walks, play board games, talk to your kids, prioritize rest. That's huge. As a couple, if you can prioritize rest, you're making great strides towards a less stressed relationship. And finally, be intentional. Whatever you do, don't do things as they come. As a couple, step back and say, here's the things that are important to us as a couple, and we're going to pursue those with a vengeance. All these other things that are ancillary, we're going to let them go. And as you set new priorities, you just might be surprised at how much easier it is to develop healthy expectations.